Lesson 10. This is a full training on all features of the Agency Grade Analytics Pro platform version 9.
Hi everyone, and welcome to this WebCarrots training session. This lesson was built by our top support team, including experienced SEO and GEO specialists, our lead analyst, and our tech team. We kept it simple, but packed it with real tips, best practices, and practical steps to help you understand how to outrank the competition. Feel free to pause, rewind, take notes, and most importantly, use your agency grade VIP email support for any questions that come up during the session. So grab a hot drink, open your notepad, and let's dive in. You're going to enjoy this one.
Agency Grade Analytics Pro version 9 is an advanced competitor analysis system built as an inner platform inside WebCarrots. It gives you the tools you need to drill down, compare competitors, find gaps, and close those gaps on the web page you are optimizing. The focus is accuracy, major time savings, and action-ready guidance powered by AI, logic, automation, and structured analysis. In this lesson, we will briefly review each major area and point you to the deeper lessons for each feature. Agency-grade features, including Visibility and Competitor Manager Pro, are accessible from the dashboard console or by clicking the Analytics Pro tab. The agency-grade dashboard is dynamic and continues to evolve. This means you may see new relevant information, new options, and new features after system updates. Some information is available only from this dashboard, while other sections provide quick links to analyses and reports that were already generated. Keep in mind that dashboard information is tied to a specific report date. If you do not see data in one or more dashboard sections, or in any agency-grade analysis or report, first check that you are on the correct report date. This usually happens when you are already in a new cycle, but your work was completed in the previous cycle. Simply switch back to the correct report date, and the data should reload. This is also a great way to go back, compare, or retrieve data from previous cycles. If one or more sections are still empty, and you are sure the data was processed for that report date cycle, click the Refresh button. This also applies to feature report tables. The agency-grade dedicated console is organized around a general workflow, but you can use any tool as needed. Over time, you will naturally develop your own workflow based on the tools you prefer and the type of work you are doing. For detailed instructions on each feature, please view that feature's dedicated video lesson. Also, take advantage of your agency-grade VIP email support. Whether your question is technical, analytical, or related to implementation, our team is here to help your project move in the right direction. Some tools have a learning curve, and that is completely fine. Just send us an email, and we will guide you through it. In most cases, your workflow starts by fetching the target page. In simple terms, this is the web page you are optimizing against the competitors you already submitted and automatically fetched. This works similarly to fetching competitors, but this time it is your website or the website you are optimizing. All URL fetching guidelines apply here as well. If the system rejects or cannot validate the URL for any reason, you can contact us and request that the web address be whitelisted. Once the target page is processed successfully, check the raw data through the agency grade dashboard. As a reminder, if you do not see the fetched page under Target Pages, URL/links, click the refresh link. You can quickly review the raw data because this is your website, or at least a website you likely know well. As a best practice, verify the high priority fields first: title, description, H1, and content. You may be surprised to find that even a home page is missing a proper title, has an irrelevant description, has no H1, or has raw content that looks off. When that happens, it is a major setback and should become a high-priority task. More details are covered in Lesson 11. Add Target Website. The next workflow step is Target Page Synopsis. Click that feature in the Agency Grade console. You should see your recently fetched targets there. If you do not see them, there are 3 common reasons. First, the URL may not have been automatically verified, or you may not have clicked Process and Save after validation. Second, the data may simply need to be refreshed. Third, your session may have timed out, or you may have switched back to the most recent report date while the target belongs to a previous report date. A fetch target must be eligible. If it shows as ineligible, place your mouse over the ineligible label to see the reason. The most common reason is that there is not enough data to create a page synopsis. By this point, you have likely already reviewed WebCarrots, WebCarrots, and your competitors' content gap opportunities. Analyzing the target page, meaning the page you are optimizing, should now give you a clearer understanding of the next opportunities and priorities. A strong practice is to go back to project management for each relevant competitor connected to the target page and update the task with your new insights. The optimized page synopsis can also be used as a standalone report. For example, you can use it for initial project planning, provide it to a third party, or use it as a quick page-level analysis. The next step in the workflow is competitor analysis. Here, we set the target page aside for now and focus back on the competition. This time, we are looking at a group of competing web pages together. You can select a minimum of 2 and up to 5 competitors to compare. This is where navigation grouping and hashtags become extremely useful. On the navigation bar, you can see which competitors are local, global, or part of another grouping, depending on your own competitor research. Your best comparison is usually between similar competitors. However, you can also run 2 reports, one focus group report and one broader report for global topic comparison. In Lesson 8, you can learn more about using hashtags. Here, you can see hashtags in action. When you click a hashtag, the group index note you created can help you quickly understand the group details. You can even edit the note and mention that you are running specific reports, if useful. Select the group you want to analyze and compare, then click Run Competitor Comparison. Keep in mind that a competitor must be eligible before it can be included. Once the report is complete, you will find it below under Competitor Comparison Reports. Name the report right away. It is also accessible from the agency grade dashboard under Competitor Comparison Reports. If you do not see it in either place, click Refresh and make sure you are on the same report date where you ran the report. The report includes a brief explanation at the top. You can learn more in Lesson 13, but in short, this report compares shared topics, including topics with close semantic meaning. If multiple competitors cover the same topic, that can be a strong signal that you should prioritize it. You can also click Print or Save as PDF, depending on your device options. The next step is to combine the target optimized web page with selected competitors. Go to Combine Gap Analysis. Before starting, note that more detailed guidance is available in Lesson 14. You may also want to read the user guide at the top of the report. Inside the report, there is also a quick help button in the top right corner with best practices and tips. This is one of the most important and resource-rich reports, so use the available guidance to understand it fully. Start by selecting an eligible target. This means the web page you are optimizing, for which you already ran target page synopsis. That is required before running this report. Next, select a group of competitors. Best practice is to select competitors found through the same query you used for that target. You can select more, but for a focused report, it is best to use competitors that came from the same query. For the fastest process, keep fast mode selected. It will intelligently avoid time-consuming steps. If you need full coverage, choose all. When the report is complete, it should appear under the Reports section below and in the Agency Grade dashboard under Combine Smart Reports. If you cannot see it, click Refresh and confirm you are on the same report date where the report was processed. Name the report immediately. Naming reports is not just best practice. It helps you identify the report in other platform areas, especially when using it later with Smart Analyst. If you recently named or renamed the report somewhere else in the platform, or if the report name is not showing, click Refresh to reload the name. For more information, refer to the guide, the help documents, and Lesson 14. For now, we will briefly review the report. The left column includes the topics, or the gaps to close. Under each topic, you will see a topic score. This score generally rates the level of coverage for that topic on the target page selected for this report. A high general topic score is not always enough to maintain strong AI search visibility. The reason is simple. When it comes to the details, your competitors may still outrank you through stronger offers, better content coverage, clearer explanations, or more complete positioning. We will come back to this shortly, but first, let's continue the report overview. The remaining columns are based on the competitors you selected. Each competitor has 2 columns, clearly marked with the competitor letter and name as you scroll down. Each competitor column set includes offering and opportunity. Offering shows what that competitor offers for the topic. Under the offering text, you will see an important score bar. Unlike the global gap closing score for the main topic, this bar shows how deep or how close the gap is for that specific competitor and topic. Opportunity gives you a suggested insight on how to close that content gap. Under some opportunity text in fast mode, or under all opportunities if you chose all mode, you will see test norm queue. This is a normalized query that a user may search for based on that opportunity. The system tests several options, and in some cases, these tests may produce an actual search trend. If a trend was detected in the last 30 days, you will see a trend line graph. Place your mouse over the line to see the date of occurrence. This can help you connect the trend to a specific period, such as holidays, vacations, seasonal events, or other outside factors. Because the report is saved, you can come back later or compare similar reports over time. This may help you identify event-influenced traffic, then use that insight to close the gap more effectively than the competition, including by addressing the relevant event or timing in your content. It is very important to understand that an opportunity without a norm queue test or without a trend is not automatically less important. The main thing that matters is the offering gap score for each topic and competitor. Those are the gaps you should do your best to close. At the bottom left of either an offering or opportunity item, you will see an ID that starts with mid-dash, followed by a number. Clicking it marks that item as hot, or in other words, as a favorite. It will also trigger a note icon in the lower right area. Clicking the note icon automatically creates a note in Notes Hub, which is covered in Lesson 6. The note includes the information you need about that item. You can add or remove text as needed. This is a fast way to save the item for later work or assign it to a team member. Here are 2 important tips. First, the note automatically includes our standard project tag, which represents the report date you are working on. If you also use that tag in navigation titles, competitor group notes, or general project notes, you can quickly filter all related notes by that tag. You can also use multiple tags for more advanced filtering. Second, it is best practice to update project management for each competitor with the tasks you plan to manage, the gaps you plan to close, the status, and any other useful details. Using these fast, low-friction methods, usually just a few clicks, keeps you on top of the project and puts you on a strong path toward finalizing and executing your gap closing strategy. Also, except for notes, which we recommend removing when the project is complete, project manager task settings stay in the system for future reference. This lets you check what was done and when, if needed later. Back to the report. We also recommend reviewing all rows and columns all the way to the bottom. If a row is shared by only one competitor or by 2 out of 5 competitors, that does not mean the gap is unimportant. Your mission is always to consider closing all meaningful gaps. Of course, mark only the highest priority items as hot, and remember that you can return to the report at any time. At the top left of the Topics and Gaps column, you will find the Hot filter. Clicking it hides all rows except rows with at least one item marked as hot. The entire row is still shown because users often want to see the other items under the same topic before making a final priority or action decision. At this point, review your hot items. If you decide to remove one from your final focus list, you can do that. If a row no longer has any hot items while you are in filter mode, it will disappear. To return to the full report, Click the All button at the top left. Next is Trust Building Content. This is an out-of-the-box supplementary feature that helps you add authoritative content to the website you are optimizing. This feature works outside the direct data environment of your target page and competitors. Its goal is to give you additional insights into possible user intent, questions, content ideas, and even FAQ content, or a new FAQ set from scratch. In simple terms, when a page includes content supported by a verified authority, AI is more likely to treat that content as real, reliable, and confirmed. That means the page is not just presenting marketing claims or service offers. It includes at least some content backed by outside authority. To identify the correct industry, the system also considers the competitor's category. To use this tool, you must have at least one combined gap analysis report. More details are covered in Lesson 17. Click Create for the report you want. This is another place where naming and noting each report is important because it helps you quickly understand the project, the intention, and the context. Because this process involves deep research, search, and analysis, it may take a few moments. When it is complete, you will see two reports ready to show: Smart FAQ and Authority. These appear under Section 2, Research-Based Insights and Trust References. If you do not see them, click Refresh and make sure you are on the same report date where the report was created. Section 2 also has its own mini-task status for using the insights. Once you finish evaluating the report, choose the correct status. When your web team has been sent to handle it, set the status to Pending Upload. When it has been implemented, for example, when an FAQ item was added to the website, set the workflow status to Uploaded. This allows you to come back later and see what was actually done. As with other reports, name it and add a few helpful words, such as used for a blog article. Let's go in and take a look. Click Show under Smart FAQ. Right away, you can see why we call this out of the box. The topics are detached from your direct data and are based more on common industry categories. The goal is to provide additional optional content for your optimized page, or even for other pages on the same website. You may immediately find questions that take the out-of-the-box approach too far. In some cases, they may still inspire useful ideas or help you enrich the content. In other cases, simply ignore them. The next phase is to see whether you can find a quote and link to an authoritative source. This is not just a link to a popular forum. These are more unique research sources and articles discussing the subject. Close the research summary and click Show under Authority. Keep in mind that some commercial industries do not have much professional research available. In some cases, you may not find anything directly relevant. Still, keep an open mind. Even remotely related subjects can improve the quality, authority, and usefulness of your content. For example, let's use courier services. The system may define topics such as delivery services and courier service, which can lead to professional literature. Look at the out-of-the-box questions users may be interested in and may actually search for. Ask yourself what is directly relevant, remotely relevant, or useful as supporting content. Use the top orange bar to scroll right and left. One subject may mention something like the impact of online food delivery service on eating out. Naturally, if you are a courier service delivering documents, that is probably too far off topic. Another item, for example, may include an excerpt about reducing courier delivery time. That can be an interesting starting point. It may refer to research in Hungary, but the broader issue may still apply globally. For example, under an FAQ, you could use a question such as, what is the average delivery time for online orders? The answer could briefly explain the current standard, then reference a relevant study, include a short quote, and link to the source. That kind of FAQ can be interesting, useful, and backed by authoritative content. Best practice is to make sure the authoritative page you quote from and link to opens quickly, preferably without login requirements, security challenges, or slow access barriers. This is just one example of how out-of-the-box content can make your page richer, more interesting, more authoritative, and most importantly, more unique. Competitors often share similar basic content. Your goal is to close the essential gaps while also adding original, useful, and trust-building material. This is a brief overview of WebCarrots Smart Analyst and its Copilot.
The analyst does exactly what it sounds like. It reviews all data, highlights findings, analyzes them further, adds graphs, provides suggestions, and gives you interactive actions for deeper research. It can speed up your workflow, giving you more insight while consolidating large amounts of data into easy-to-read sections. You can also produce a Copilot report as an expedited bottom line of everything you have done so far. The workflow could look like this. Run Smart Analyst. Use the Copilot for the bottom line. Go to Project Manager, set tasks for each competitor, print it, and you have a full SEO and GEO content gap project ready. Our recommendation is to go through the full workflow. However, if you are running many projects and short on time, this gives you a way to fully use the power of agency-grade analysis while saving significant time. Let's start. Enjoy.
More detailed information is covered in Lesson 15. An analyst report can be processed for each combined gap analysis report. It can serve as a supplemental report, especially because many users prefer the combined gap analysis as their core decision-making source. Or, if the analyst structure and insights fit your workflow better, you can use it as your main gap-closing decision consultant. To begin, go to WebCarrots Smart Analyst and click Smart Analyst Report. Once again, note the importance of naming your combined gap reports so you can quickly identify the project or stage you are working on. You can also see the optimized target site here, which is helpful if you are running multiple projects and need to focus on one specific target. The Smart Analyst will process the data and prepare the report. This may take a moment. Once the report appears on your screen, you can review it. Then click the Close button at the top right when finished. Remember that this report is based on the combined gap analysis report. As a best practice, at minimum, review the combined gap analysis before running the analyst. This is not mandatory, but it gives you more context and helps you understand the analyst report better. A key feature throughout the analyst report is the explanatory content from top to bottom. We recommend reading it. Some of it is guidance, and some is generated by the analyst to explain numbers, insights, and findings. You can always return to it later to better understand report items. As mentioned, Lesson 15 covers the full details. For now, let's review the main areas. In the metadata blue header section on the left, you will see high-level findings from the combined gap analysis report. For example, you can see how many competitor topics your target page strongly covers, partially covers, or does not cover at all. This gives you an at-a-glance view of how deep your content gaps are. This section also shows the target page you are optimizing and the competitor data used for the report, so you can quickly confirm you are in the right place. On the top right, you will find a print button. Use it if you need to print the report, save it for later review, share it, or email it as a PDF if your device supports that option. The print format is different from the screen view and is divided into clear sections so you can quickly find what you need. Scrolling down a bit, the left section shows metrics that measure the overall content gap size between the optimized target page and the competitors. One important idea from combined gap analysis, which is the source of the analyst report, is the difference between global topic gap size and per competitor topic gap size. The analyst gives you two quick visual graphs. Topic Performance Metrics Overview shows the target page's overall performance. Coverage against competitors angle breaks coverage down across all competitors and shows how your content performs against each competitor. Understanding this will trigger stronger insights and better action decisions later in the analyst report. As a rule of thumb, no coverage is completely fine if the combined gap analysis includes competitors that provide niche services you do not offer and do not plan to offer. That would naturally be a 100% gap, but it may not be a gap you need to worry about. That said, as a practical tip, even if a niche is not something you offer, you may still consider closing part of the gap with informational content. For example, You could explain the topic, add a small section to the target page, or add an FAQ. This may help you gain weak to partial coverage without presenting it as a service you actually provide. The right section, strong topics and partial topics, shows strong and partially covered topics, if any. Notice the letter index in the orange background. Use the header to see which competitor each letter represents. At the top, you may see your global topic coverage, for example, 87.3 out of 100, which is strong. However, when you drill down, you can see how the target performs against each specific competitor. Details and opportunities are available in the Combined Gap Analysis report if you need to go back to the source. Under these two sections is coverage distribution. The section includes guidance directly in the report, but in short, it shows the gap between your overall good or strong coverage of shared competitor topics and your average coverage against the specific competitor content represented by the lower navy blue bar. Below this bar graph, you will see an important reminder of topics your competitors cover that your target page either covers too weakly or does not cover at all. In many cases, you may feel that the target page already talks about the topic. That may be true, but this section also includes weak coverage. Weak coverage still means there is a major content gap to close, unless the topic is clearly outside your niche or offering. As mentioned, even if you cannot practically cover a topic as a service, you may want to cover it through information or an alternative angle to support SEO and geo-visibility. For this reason, Analyst includes quick interactive research from inside the report. For example, let's say you do not offer technology integration. Click the tag to quickly search the topic in AI and Google. Let's try AI first. You may quickly discover that you do have some technology integration, such as support software, online tools, or other digital systems. That gives you a real basis for covering the topic. We will not go too deep into this here. Remember, you can always use VIP email support to ask our team for help on any topic. Now let's try Google. You may find useful information, videos, and other websites that give you ideas on how to approach the subject. If you decide this topic is worth pursuing, go back to Combined Gap Analysis and review what the competition says about it, along with the related opportunities. In this example, after reviewing technology integration, you may see that two competitors mention technology. Drill down further before making the final decision. You can also go to AI Visibility and Competitors Manager Pro to evaluate the competitive level of those two competitors. If those two are indeed your top competitors, that can reassure you that covering the topic is worthwhile. Mark the item as hot. Optionally create a note, assign it to content writing, and set a due date if needed. Now, with the research from Analyst and the opportunity details from Combined Gap Analysis, you can give your content writer a clear task, such as adding a technology section to the target page. Now, in Progress Hub for this report date cycle, you can see everything together. Click Update to see task status. Click the tag to filter only this project's notes. When the project is complete, we recommend removing the related notes from the hub. You will still have the project manager task records if you ever need to follow up on previous work. Back to Analyst. Scrolling further down, you will find one of the building blocks of online visibility and especially AI search visibility, the user intent discovery section. Any search assistant first tries to understand the user's intent from the query or prompt, even when the user does not state that intent clearly. This is why matching user intent is so important. Our advanced core process, while generating combined gap analysis, runs a side process that tests user intent for each opportunity offered by the system. As a result, some opportunities are backed by actual search trends, which makes those topics especially strong. This section gathers intents with strong trend signals. In simple terms, these are user intents supported by scientific-style source data. Some may have lighter trends, but even then, they can still represent proven user intent, meaning what users actually want from a vendor offering what your target page offers or wants to offer. For the most part, these intents are clear. Still, You can learn more about each one by clicking it and researching it further. The next section is terms in this run did not return a significant trend signal. We call this the hidden treasure. First, let's explain what it means when a term does not return a trend signal or returns only a weak signal. Usually, it means that the exact tested term is not how most people search for the idea word for word. The reason we call this section the hidden treasure is that, despite weak wording level signals, most, if not all, of these terms may still hide valuable user intent related to what the target page offers. These terms are strongly influenced by the direct competitors you selected for the combined gap analysis report. To dig out the value, click terms that look interesting. Think outside the box. Do not limit yourself only to what you already know. Many users have specific intents, and a short section on your target page can help you cover those intents while making the page stronger than competitors that ignore them. For example, your optimized company may be eco-friendly in practice, even if that was not intentional. The page may not mention the word eco at all, and it may not market that angle. However, some companies prefer eco-friendly partners as a policy. That is just one example of the hidden treasure. Explore it. You can always return to the report later if now is not the right time for deeper analysis. Finally, let's go back to the top. On the top right, click Copilot. By now, you may already know a lot about the project, the competitors, the topics, and the gaps. Or, on the other hand, you may not have the time or resources to follow the full best practice workflow and need a quick path to action. In either case, Copilot gives you exactly that. The status section gives you a quick summary of the target page's strengths and weaknesses. The user intent section highlights the top intents. The content gap section gives you analytical guidance on your best gap closing opportunities. Keep in mind that the Copilot is based on data and structured analysis. Some recommendations may work well for the competitors you selected and may also work well for you, but they may still involve a topic you cannot or do not want to include on the optimized page. Maybe it is outside your capability, outside your niche, or not part of your offering. In those cases, simply skip that gap closing recommendation. At the same time, services, offers, or items that are not directly relevant as offerings can sometimes still be included as information. You may discuss the topic without presenting it as a service. If you have questions about items like this, use VIP email support and one of our specialists will be happy to review it with you. The next feature is WebCarrots Analyst. The biggest difference between the previous analyst and WebCarrots Analyst is this. The previous analyst is generated completely from data already processed inside the system. WebCarrots Analyst is generated from core competitor data plus your important input and selections. Click New Smart Meta-Analysis. It may take a moment to load the data. On the top right, there is a core summary. It will populate later in the process once metrics are available. Click Start WebCarrots Meta-Analysis. Section 1 will load all available competitors for the report date. In some cases, you may run multiple projects in the same report date cycle. If so, quickly unselect competitors that are not related to the target page you are optimizing. Now review each competitor's data. For the best meta-analysis, select at least 3 competitors that are your top competitors and may have specialized niches you do not fully share, but that still compete with the target page for the same clientele overall. This is very important for generating the most accurate optimized title, description, and H1 for the target page. There is another use for WebCarrots Meta-Analyst. Because of its unique way of reviewing, processing, and analyzing data, it can also support positioning, alternative marketing angles, and ideas for new pages positioned differently. If you are using it for positioning or new page ideas, select competitors accordingly. You may include a broader and less tightly focused group. The good news is that you can run multiple reports, use parts of each one, compare them, and keep refining until you get the strongest result. Quick tip: each competitor has a letter. Use the index in the header to identify the domain. This is only a preview. For more details about WebCarrots Meta Analyst, please view Lesson 18. Once you have selected at least 3 relevant competitors, click Start Multi-Stage Workflow to move to the second stage. This can take a few moments because the system's unique process is already in motion at this stage. If you are short on time, or simply want the system to make the decisions for you, click Continue with Full AI Algorithm Decision. However, as discussed, you may also use this process for positioning. You may want the analysis to focus on a specific niche, skip certain terms or keywords, or place higher weight on specific words during the analysis. For that reason, we strongly recommend setting up keyword weighting and marking words to skip when you absolutely do not want them in your metadata or when they are not part of your positioning in any realistic scenario. The list may be short, or you may need to scroll down depending on the system's initial analysis. If you are not sure what to do, you can also scroll down to Section 1 to see the full meta package you selected for this analysis. When ready, click Continue using the method you chose. For this example, we will use Continue using my keyword weights. From this point, the process runs automatically and generates sections 3 through 7. This may take a few moments. Each section appears in the analyst as it is completed, so you can read it while the rest is still being analyzed and generated. When complete, Section 7 will appear on top, so you can quickly view the final results. If you need to step away, you can close the analyst, then name and note the report with the project name and the review status. Note that when you return to the report, it will start from Section 1 and continue down to Section 7. Let's jump to Section 3. Meta Analyst usually delivers 2 to 3 possible positioning angles supported by the data. This is a useful insight for developing more web pages that cover more angles. You can also read the rationale behind each option. Section 4 gives you the first draft of meta sets for each possible positioning angle. Section 5 is a quality control process for the initial drafts. It helps the system continue developing the title, description, and H1 into the strongest possible set. In Section 6, the analyst reviews the data for performance. The best performing items, along with other decision factors, are assembled into the final analytical meta set, title, description, and H1. This final set may be based on one positioning angle or multiple positioning angles. Section 7 runs the final meta set through tougher tests and delivers a final version that is also audio compatible for audio search apps that read meta information out loud as search results. A good practice is to balance the recommendations from Sections 6 and 7, because Section 7 may be more aggressive on audio compatibility. That may be exactly what you want if your goal is maximum voice search compatibility, but it may not always be the best choice for every page. Most importantly, this does not mean you should automatically copy and paste the title, description, and H1 as is. Read them and make sure they truly fit the target page. If something feels off, run a new analyst report. Change competitors, review keyword weights, skip words that are not relevant, then compare the reports. You can even combine the strongest parts of multiple reports when that produces the best fit for the target page. A couple more features are worth noting. In the top right of the report, click the Print button to print or save to PDF. This lets you take the report with you, share it with your team, or email it. WebCarrots Analyst also includes a Copilot button at the top right of the report. Click it. The Copilot is great when you are on a short schedule and need to deliver results quickly. Even if you are doing the work yourself, briefly read the insights first. If you are sending this for implementation, you can copy and paste some or all of the insights into your message. Section 2, Actions, gives you the final voice-first meta set to ship now, and also the baseline meta set before voice optimization, which can be useful when you want a slightly more descriptive version. Review or send the other actions as well when relevant. To evaluate whether the actions are ready, check whether any items in Section 3 checks apply. If they do, and they may affect the final result, address those issues in a rerun of the report, then return to the Copilot when it is done. Again, more details are covered in Lesson 18. Next is AI Visibility and Competitors Finder. There are two features inside. One button takes you directly to Visibility Manager Pro. The other is the Visibility Research tool, which performs the research, generates a visibility ranking score, and then prompts you to view the data in Visibility Manager Pro. At the top, you will see your monthly query credit balance. Each question uses 1 credit. To check visibility and top competitors, enter the website domain and click Visibility Search. This loads the domain into the form. You can use Click to Check to confirm that it is the correct website. Use questions that are as close as possible to what users would search for when looking for what you offer. For local businesses, it is important to add the city and state at the end. You can use up to 3 questions per run. When ready, click Get Score and Competitors. The system first analyzes the question to confirm that it has commercial business search intent. This is a deep, repeated search and analysis process designed to capture true visibility and competitors. It may take a few moments for each question to complete. Once it does, you will see the visibility score from 0 to 100. When finished, all data will be saved and available in Visibility Manager Pro. You can go there right away by clicking Go to Score and Competitors. More detailed information about this platform is covered in Lesson 19, but here is the brief overview. You can see the run you just processed under Runs. Click it to see results for each query. Click the query you want to explore further, and you will see a list of ranked websites. Your own website may also appear on the list if it has visibility for that query. That may mean you have some visibility or even a high visibility score. It is important to understand that competitor rankings and visibility scores apply only to that specific query. For another query, your score may be higher or lower, and different competitors may appear. In many cases, when an industry and location have a strong online footprint, the same core group of competitors may appear across many top results. Even when a new competitor appears for a specific query, consistent competitors are usually your general base competitors. You can still consider highly ranked query-specific competitors if that niche is lucrative and you want to compete for it. Each dataset is organized in tabs. The inner data includes visual graphs on the right. On the left, you can filter, move to a previous report date cycle, and use other tools to focus on the information you need. If you do not see more runs, the run may belong to the previous cycle, especially if the cycle renewed today. You can continue filtering by selecting Signals, manage final desired competitors in Signals Manager, and then make your final decision about which competitors should be submitted for automatic data fetching. See Lessons 1 and 19 for details on importing from the competitive set, validating competitors, and submitting competitors to the system. This completes Lesson 10, Overview of Agency Grade, Best Practices, and Tips.